Hello, this is the One Episode Rule podcast about first impressions. I am Magpie. Hello, hi, how are you? I forgot whether I watched any anime. I don't think I
Happens.
did.
Happens to
Well,
the best of
well,
us.
I did, but it's shit I'm covering on the podcast, just in a secret part you haven't seen yet.
Oh, fascinating. Oh, yeah. No one gets to know about that.
hmm
Even I don't get to know about that. I wasn't there.
hmm
Well, I know about it because I'm sneaky. Hi. Hi, I'm Joey. I didn't watch any anime this week. It's been a busy one. I didn't
I was
didn't
gonna show it to
get
you the
around
other
to.
day, but we just ended up watching
Oh, we ended up watching
Furiosa.
Furiosa. Furiosa was good. Listen, what if they made an anime out of that? How
What if they
sick
made
would
an
that
anime
be?
out of that?
Mad
Do you want
Max anime could go hard.
the Mad Max anime?
Could go hard.
That's called Hokuto no Ken. Which I could park that in here, but hey, we discussed that they're gonna release that in like 2026. What we
Mm-hmm.
haven't discussed is they put out a trailer like immediately after I said that, and everybody is of the opinion that it kind of looks like shit.
Damn.
It's really rushed.
Bummeroony.
Looked like really rushed 3D.
Tragic.
Um,
You hate to see it. Anyhow, you got some news for us?
I got some real news.
You got
Speaking
some
of
cool
2026,
news.
2026 free run January.
Rerun, let's
That's it.
go.
That's the tweet.
That's the
Um,
news. Listen, that's good news. Great
yeah,
news, even, I would say.
yeah, yeah. Free run 2026. Crunchyroll has helpfully unreleased Black Clover season 2 in 2026.
They said, no, we don't need to put this one out, actually.
No, they got very excited about it until they decided to delete all mention of when it's coming out.
Oh, that's even funnier, maybe.
There's
I don't know.
there is perhaps some disagreement about when it is coming out. I don't know anything about Black Clover,
I
so
don't know
that's
either.
all I have to say about that.
I'm sure it's fine.
More
Whatever.
stuff.
More stuff.
The Full Metal Alchemist author Hiromu Arakawa is getting another anime,
Yes.
and
So
it's not Silver
exciting.
Spoon, which I still haven't brought to the podcast, even though it came out like 15 years ago.
I
Um,
mean, there's still time.
no, it's her new manga, her new action manga, Demons of the Shadow Realm, is
Ooh.
getting a adaptation, or so says Anime Expo 2025.
Let's
Um,
go.
that aired during the Crunchyroll panel. More announcements. Cyberpunk Season 2.
Edgerunners. More edgerunners.
More Edge
Woo.
Runners. Quote, Bartosz Siztabor. Stabor.
Yeah. That guy.
He's Polish.
He's
I'm
here.
sorry. Um, remarks, when people are sad, I'm a bit happy of the series.
He loves hurting people, is what I'm learning here.
uh, but the other thing is that we are a company from Poland. I'm from Poland, and people in Poland are sad. They are born sad, they die sad. So I wanted to make the whole world sad.
Shocking. Really, really
Shocking
shocking.
Polish content.
Polish. That somehow is one of the most Polish things I've ever heard, though, actually. I'm
And
not sure how.
finally, we don't typically cover baseless speculation here, or historical anecdotes, but this was too interesting to not mention, which was apparently Warner Brothers was considering a Naruto live action as early as 2006. Can you
That's
imagine
crazy.
what Naruto live action English American
In
in
2006.
2006 looks like?
Oh, that would have looked so crazy.
Incredible.
Oh, wow.
Right there back to back with like Dragon Ball Evolution.
Oh. Were they gonna make it a movie? Were they gonna make it a miniseries? What
It
are we
looked like it
looking
was
at?
gonna no. Warner Brothers was dealing strictly with movies at that point.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. But I didn't want to jump.
And apparently, there is currently a Naruto live action in pre-production at Lionsgate. So
Ooh, a
we'll see if
movie?
that turns into anything. Well,
Also a
yeah,
movie, I
um,
suppose. Listen, I'm just keeping my mind open. We
I'm
got the
not.
O plus series.
Mind shut. Um,
His
I do
eyes
not
are
see it.
closed. He does not see it. Okay.
Do you want to watch an anime with me?
I always want to watch an anime. Let's
I'm gonna
go.
tell you why we're hitting this after the break, but
Okay.
this week we're gonna watch a fresh out of the oven anime called Ruri Rocks.
Ruri rocks. All right,
Ruri no Hoseki.
let's rock, I guess.
So I need you to know that the reason this is on the podcast is because yesterday I saw a tweet about how after one episode, this show is, quote, hard filtering a bunch of geology nerds because the girls are too hot.
Wait, what? Wait, hold on. What?
Because the
Explain.
geologist is too hot. This is all I know. That was the end of the statement.
Hard filtering how? Like filtering them out? Like making
Yes,
people leave?
yes.
The
I can
geology
provide
nerds
nothing else.
hate girls?
I can
Is that
provide nothing else, Judge.
I
This is the end of the statement.
it seems like a stupid statement. It
Um,
seems like
I had to know more.
okay.
Um,
I don't get it.
but uh, but yeah. Do you want to hit a blurb?
If it's the blurb that I think it is, then sure. Very descriptive. All right, let's fucking go. Cracks my knuckles. Ahem. The story of Ruri, a girl who likes jewelry and accessories, diving into the world of mineralogy.
She does that.
Full stop. That's it. That's the whole
That's
blurb.
that's the
That's
whole
what this
blurb. And you
show
know what?
is.
It's right. That's fine.
You know what? That's what the show's about. That's it.
um,
That's it. That's the show.
so we open on Ruri, and we have to decide whether we like or despise Ruri. Um,
I like okay. Here's
I
my
fi-
thing is
I think she's immediately annoying, but I am also willing to temper that with the fact that she is quite obviously a child.
yes. This she is like a young high schooler at most is
Yeah,
what
she
I'm
feels like a
getting.
middle school kid. Um,
Yeah. She's like 15
yeah,
maybe.
yeah, I would say 12 to 15. Um,
Fifteen
she
at the
feels young.
most.
Um,
She's quite young.
but we open on Ruri in a department store with her friend, and they're just browsing. And she runs a and she is wandering through the jewelry section, and she clearly quite likes jewelry in general.
Uh-huh.
Uh, but she finds a necklace with a long quartz crystal attached to it, and becomes
Yes.
completely enraptured by it.
Shopping.
It's just like,
She's
oh, I
shopping at the
really, really want this.
she's shopping at the Earthbound Trading
She's
Co.
shopping at the yeah. She's gonna leave with some fucking hermit crabs as well.
Yeah.
Um, a
um
bunch of incense.
the next scene is her immediately at
Well,
home stomping her little tootsies on the
well,
ground
wait,
and
wait. It's not
whining.
that. You missed the wind up
What
to
did
the
I
joke.
miss? What did I miss?
You completely missed the wind up to the joke. We skipped over it entirely because she's there with her friend,
Okay.
and her friend is just like, how long do we have to stand here while you look at rocks? It's like you can't afford it anyway, and she's just like, oh come now, I'm sure I could find 10 or 20 people to buy it for me.
Oh yeah, I forgot
And
about
then
that.
we hard cut to her stomping her feet and going going on the guy. Please give me an advance on my allowance. And
Her mom is just
her mom is
cooking.
with her back to her cooking, and she's just like, no, you don't need
No.
to buy that. She turns around and just hands her a huge plate of karage.
Honest, and
I assume that's what it is. I don't know.
I
It's
don't know what it
breaded
was, but it
something.
looked
It
delicious.
looks
I was like, "Oh,
delicious.
I want some of that." They made it so sparkly and shiny.
Um, and she sits there and pouts with her plate of fried chicken, um, she's like, why not? And she's like, crystal. It was a real crystal. It was so pretty and clear. And her mom is just like, huh, crystals, huh? And your grandpa used to bring back crystals all the time when he went foraging for herbs in the mountains. And she's just like, well, no, they're definitely from overseas. You know, it shows how much you know. It's just like, well, no, they were long and clear and pointed at the end. And she immediately is just like, really, Grandpa?
She's like, "Do you still have?" She's like,
Do you
"Do you still
still? It's
have
just like,
those?"
oh no, no, I was never interested in that sort of thing, so I gave them all away. She's like, why?
Screams.
But
Screams
we
of
see the
torment.
beginnings of a plan in our mind because she just says those mountains where I used to go with to go for school trips, and she's just like, oh yeah, those are the ones. That's where your grandpa used to go. And yeah, we cut to a scene of her on the weekend having bought herself a bus ticket out to out to the wilderness. It's just like it couldn't just like it couldn't be true, could it? Like it's too easy. It's too close to home. Well, I'll give it a look. And she's got like a garden trowel. Um,
This scene is very
yeah, because
funny.
she walks 2 steps and immediately sees a big sign that just says that says bears live in this area.
She's
She's just
like
like
screams, but she's like, "That sign
that
can't
doesn't
stop me. I
it
paid
yeah it
500 yen for a
doesn't
bus
scare
ticket."
me at all. I already spent my $5. But maybe I'll just dig here.
Yeah, she does seem
Um,
a little scared.
so yeah, she starts digging like immediately off the shoulder of the road. She's only like 25 feet away from the street,
Yeah.
and just starts turning up rocks. She's just like, oh, this is just a rock. This is just another rock. Oh, this is just another rock. Oh, this is just another rock.
Oh man,
And
these
she's
rocks are
tossing
so
them over
boring.
her shoulder. And one of the times, whenever she becomes really frustrated, she's like, I'm never going to find anything this way. Somebody catches the rock. She goes, whoops. And we
Whoops.
get introduced to an admittedly caked up geologist.
This I see what you're saying because she's got huge
she's
tits. She's got very large boobalas.
she's
Um
well endowed, but more interestingly, she's uh she's got a huge ass and is wearing mom jeans. I'm gonna be
okay, all right.
I'm
I
gonna be
didn't
honest. Like she's wide in the right places.
that these things are scaring the calm down girl, you're scaring the
You're
geologists.
distracting them. They can't think about the rocks.
They need to think about the rocks. Um, I mean, like, listen, we probably shouldn't. She cannot be that much older than our
She
other
is well,
protagonists
she's a
here.
grad student, so she's got to be in her early 20s. Maybe
Oh,
just past 18.
did they
Yeah,
say that?
she introduced herself as a grad student. I assume she's going
Okay,
for a degree in earth science or mineralogy.
of or some
She's
sort
going
of
to be a
environmental.
geologist. She knows a lot about rocks. um and hammers.
Uh-huh. And hammers. Oh my god, she's got a fucking war hammer.
because yeah,
She's gonna talk about her war
yeah,
hammer.
she just catches the rock and she just goes, huh. She's like, why are you crouching there? Are you okay? It's just like, oh, I was just looking for my shoestrings. And she's just like, well, all right then, as long as you're not in trouble. And then she turns around and she sets the rock on top of a larger slab of stone and cracks it open with a little geologist hammer and just has a look inside.
Tink tink.
Just has a look at it. And she
Yep.
goes, huh, interesting. And then she tosses it.
Yep.
Geology sounds like a hilarious field to be a part of, where you collect samples and you look at them and you go, and you just throw them.
Yeah.
Like
No other science
you
can you do
can't do
that.
that as like a botanist or as like a what's the insect one? I suppose you could throw a bug at somebody.
You could throw a bug at like you could.
It's
You probably
rude.
shouldn't. Imagine
The person
imagine
and the
being the
bug.
person that yeah. You definitely can't do this if you're in like chemistry.
Yeah, yeah. This is
Can't do it.
yeah. That's dangerous. Don't do that. It becomes more absurd the more specific you get. You're definitely not doing it as a marine biologist unless it's a barnacle.
I mean, actually, that's
Just
one you're more
to
likely
fucking
to be
huck a
that like
clam back into
sees
the
a
ocean.
fish. Yeah, you see a fish, you're like, okay, you're going back in the drink,
Yeah, but I
buddy.
was thinking about whales. Anyway,
Oh, okay.
um,
Yeah, I mean, probably not that
but
one.
we're getting off track here. And yeah, she just goes on her way, which is interesting. I unfortunately do not live far enough west in the United States to encounter a lot of public land.
Yeah.
It seems fascinating to be able to just wander out into the wilderness and just run into other people and in non-threatening situations. Because if I was in the
Yeah.
wilderness near my home and I ran into somebody, it would be an occasion to like arm myself.
To run. Run.
Like
Start running.
I should not be running into anybody.
Do not stop running.
Um, but yeah, in Japan you can just go off the trail and go walking, and then you run into somebody and you'd be like, "Oh, hey, what's up, dude?" And he'd just be like, "I'm collecting herbs for medicine," and that's normal.
Yep.
um,
I mean, there's places in the United States where you can kind of do that.
yeah,
Just probably not in
there's places
Texas.
in the Western United States where you can do that. Um, where you can walk off the trail and run into somebody foraging for mushrooms that will poison them. Um, but yeah, she just goes along her merry way. And Ruri, sensing the mood, just says to herself, "Wow, she looks like she knows about rocks."
She definitely knows about rocks. She makes a call. She's like, I'm gonna tell her the truth. Please help me
It's
find
just like I
rocks.
came out here because I thought I could find crystals, so I heard it from somebody. And the and the geologist, whose name is Nagi, looks down at her
Nagi.
and says, there should be some off the trail that way." And she's
Yep.
just like, "For real? Like they're real?" It's just like, "Well, yeah."
Yeah.
Just like
Sure.
quartzite's pretty common. Uh, and Ruri immediately just breaks down. He's just like, "Please take me there." And Nagi is just standing there for a second, and she's like, "Uh, and
Adopt
she looks down at this
adopting this child.
kid, and she's just like, I gotta take this kid to the crystals, don't I?" Ah, shit. Okay.
She doesn't seem really upset about it.
She just takes a moment. She's just like, "Really?
Yeah.
Okay, fine."
Yeah.
Because she beams at her.
Yeah, she's giving her the puppy dog eyes.
So
She's like,
they go on a trek
please.
that Ruri immediately regrets because Nagi's definition of just off the trail there is a 3 mile hike into the wilderness.
Yeah, they're walking for like a good hour at
Ruri is
least.
wearing wedges. Uh,
She falls on her butt.
she falls on her butt once or twice, and she notices that Nagi is carrying a huge fucking hammer on her back. And as they're walking along, she's just like, "What's that for?" And she says, "Oh, this is a warhammer from some foreign country that washed up here, and I bought it at a flea market. Its balance is just right, and I want to try splitting rocks with it." And Ray's just like,
She's also got a jingle bell on her
"Yeah,
butt.
she's got a bear bell."
It's funny.
If
Yeah,
I put it together, like as soon as I saw it, it's just like, "Oh yeah, if you make a lot of noise, the wildlife will leave you the fuck alone." Um,
that makes sense.
they'll already
Yeah.
be running by the time you get there. Um,
Yep.
and yeah, Ruri's just like, is this a normal person? Hmm. And yeah, she's completely exhausted by the time they get out there, and she runs face first into a fallen tree. Uh,
Yep.
And she's just like, I've had enough. I've had enough. I should have never come out here. Like, this was a wild goose chase. And Nagi's just like, hey, Ruri, look. And she just holds out a huge growth of crystals on a rock to her.
Yes, yes,
And she's
yes.
just like, oh! she
Oh,
pogs
and she
out,
looks.
is the only way to describe it.
Yes, pretty much. And she looks around on the ground, and there's all
Yeah,
of these. There's
there's just
lots
a
of
bunch
them.
of formations. So she's like, oh, and there, and she starts picking them up. She's like, I'm gonna take you, and I'm gonna take you, and I'm gonna take you. And sits down on a stone and it's just like, and just looks up, and she's just like, that's quite the formation, isn't it? And Ruri didn't even see because she was only looking at the ground, but the cliffside above them has a gigantic pegmite inclusion.
It's
It's
awesome
just
looking.
a
Very
a
cool.
like 15-foot long gash in the side of the cliff that is full of crystals.
I want to see one in real life.
And
Ruri gets very excited. She
yeah,
loves
she
it.
she's just struck speechless for a while Nagi tells her about like how it formed, and she's just like, yeah, magma. Sometimes whenever magma is flowing quickly, gas gets trapped inside of it and it can't escape. So it forms inclusions whenever the magma cools and hardens, and those are lined with crystals like this. And she looks
Yeah.
over at Ruri, is just like, I didn't understand any of it. I'm 12.
Edutainment mode. She's like, I want that
She's
one.
just like, it's a little big, it's a little too grand for me to understand. Um, and she's just like, well, and she's just like, well, I'll take this one and this one and this one. So like, well, remember we have to walk back. She's like, huh. And then she sees a big one sticking out of one of the further away stones. And she's like, oh, I want that one. And she's right. It's the correct choice because it's a 4 inch
Yeah, it's
long
awesome.
quartz crystal. But it is very rooted to the ground. And
Yes.
Nagi's just like, oh, I'll break it loose for you. And she pops a chisel up there and starts whacking away at it with the hammer. And then a few minutes later, she's like, "Oh, that's a lot harder than I thought it was."
She's gonna have to break out the
She's
big
just,
guns for this one.
you ever think? Do you think geologists ever start hammering on something and then they get too tired and they just like wipe their forehead and they're just like, "Fucking rocks, man."
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure they
Um,
do. All the
when they're not busy
time.
tasting them. Um,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They love nothing more.
but good old rock lickers. But But yeah, she's just like, all right, it's time to bring out the big guns. And she pulls out the Warhammer.
The
And
Warhammer.
she's like,
She's like, I'm sorry if I
yeah,
accidentally
if I
break it.
slip and break it. And Rory's just like, do not do that.
She's like, don't do that.
Do,
Don't.
do something
Just
else
don't.
instead. But she does manage to break it loose. Um,
Yeah.
so she gives this kid the coolest souvenir any kid's ever come away from a day trip with. Um, and yeah, they start walking back. Actually, they sit there for a while and have some coffee.
They have a tea break.
Um,
Yeah.
I assumed it was coffee because they said it's black, okay, but it could be tea. You're right.
I mean,
Um,
that could also describe tea. It could
it
be
really
either
it
one, I
really
guess.
depends on what time of year it is. But yeah, they sit there for a moment, and Nagi tells her about the fact that Japan sits at the intersection of like 4 continental plates, and because of this, you can find nearly every kind of precious mineral in Japan in like a small area.
Yes.
So, like sapphires, rubies, garnets, gold, silver, all of it can be found in Japan. Uh, and Ruri is just looking up at her with stars in her eyes. She's like, "Could I collect those too?" And
He's like, I want all
it's
of
just like,
them.
"Well, nature's against us here, so you would need a little knowledge." And that was the wrong thing to say because she immediately is just like, "Nagi senpai, will you teach me?" And she stops for a moment and looks down on her and is just like, "Oh man, I have so much grad work, but I can't possibly
She's like,
refuse this job."
well, I do get the sense that she also kind of wants to look for shiny rocks because she was like, well, I was planning on looking for
Yeah,
some
yeah, she throws
garnets.
that out there. It's just like, I
Do
was
do
gonna
do
go on
do.
a trip for some gardens. Do you want to come with me?
Yep.
Uh, And yeah,
And of course she
and
does.
we get a really late title drop because I feel like
It's very
this
pretty.
strikes me as one of those comics that was split into very many small vignettes where
Yeah, I
they
can
just
see that.
hike into the mountains and they talk about a rock.
It's you know what this show reminds
Hmm.
me of a little bit? What's it called? Yuzu Camp?
Yeah,
Laid
laid
back
back
camp?
camp, but with science.
It's got a little of those vibes with a little more
Um,
edutainment.
sometimes you got to learn
If you
something.
liked that one, you might like this one.
Um, but yeah, the next then she's immediately just like, yeah, okay, I'll definitely go with you. So our next scene is literally whenever they decide to do the next trip. Clearly,
Yes.
they are buds now. Because Ruri's parents have allowed her to travel in a car with with a geologist she met in the forest.
Yep.
um, yeah, Nagi has like a Fiat or something.
Yeah.
They have a little Italian hatchback. Uh,
I guess that's another point in
mhm.
your favor, like her age. I didn't even think about the fact
Yeah,
that
she
she can
drives.
drive.
But uh,
She drives.
yeah, and they drive out to the mountains, and they walk for a long time along the side of the road until they can find a spot where they can get down. Um, and then they're chatting pretty pleasantly until they a little ways off the trail they run into a sign that just says the collection of minerals in these mountains is forbidden. Um, and this is definitely a damper on the parade. And Ruri does
Ruri
not
gets
take it
very mad.
well.
She's like
She throws herself
screams.
a fit. Uh,
She's like, I'm gonna hit this
she's just like,
sign.
well, is anybody around? Which is, by the way,
She's like, nobody's
which is,
looking.
by the way, good instincts, kid. It's a sign, not a cop. But
On the
on
other
the other
hand,
hand, Nagi has some good points as well. Which and in this case, you should probably defer to the adult geologist with experience.
because yes, there are like environmental
Yeah,
reasons that you
'cause-
don't want people to necessarily be
yeah,
collecting
because Rory's
rocks
gonna
because
kick the sign. She's just gonna take out her childish anger on it, and Nagi does spin her around and grab her by the face, and she's just like, "If you're gonna act like this, I'm not taking you anywhere."
yeah.
And she settles down settles down a bit, and Nagi explains, "Is just like, listen, there are many reasons that they could have put this sign up, and there always is a reason. It could be because there's a danger of landslides, or it could be for conservation reasons. We won't necessarily know, but there is a reason.
And you have to
We
respect
have
it.
to obey the rules because we don't know why they were made."
Yes. Yep.
So,
She's
and she's
right.
just like, "Oh well, I guess you're right." But I'm really bummed out now. And she's just like, well, we don't have to go home empty handed. And she's like, what does you mean? What do you mean? It's like, do you know another place? Well, no, but there's no reason that they shouldn't just be found here. Like,
Mhm.
and
Down in the
she's pulled
water.
out a map, and yeah, our next scene is they've gone downstream, and she's like, well, we're so far away from the mountains, and she explains like rocks move a lot more than people think they.
Mm.
Uh, and this is true. I've actually watched YouTube videos about this. Uh, Specifically in Canada, there are certain rivers where the fucking beach is just made out of garnets. This is
Yes.
they. In
Yes.
fact, in some places they collect them for industrial purposes
Yep.
because
It's awesome.
they make pretty good grit for sandpaper
Mhm.
um, and various polishing agents. Because garnets are pretty hard.
Yeah, they
But
are.
yeah, they have a little trip where they go panning.
It's cute.
She's like,
It
"Here,
looks fun.
use the sieve. We're not going to use the hammer this time." And she seems,
We get some nice nature shots in
yeah,
here. I
oh
like it.
yeah. So I was sitting here watching the show, and it's just like, well, I came for the big ass geologist and the funny joke about something I saw on Twitter, and I left with my reverence for nature reignited. For
Yes, yes, yes,
the
yes.
beauty of the world has kindled a flame in
Thank
my
God, I
heart
want to go
again.
outdoors. I need to
I
go
need to go
exploring now.
outside.
I
Oh,
want to
it's
go
too fucking hot.
outside.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's too hot. I will boil. I will boil if I
I'm
go
putting it
out
away
there.
until late September,
There you go.
maybe mid October. Um,
Yeah.
it's hot in Texas. Uh,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, they're standing there in the river, and she seems like pretty skeptical, but she finds a garnet almost immediately while Nagi is telling her about the cycle of rocks traveling downstream.
Mhm.
And I got the sense that Nagi was trying to do this to distract her from the dullness of the work, and then she
Or,
immediately found
the
one.
fact that they or, or the fact that they might not find
Yeah, exactly.
something, but it worked.
And she immediately found one, and they got really hyped about it. And they
Yes.
stand there and they sift two more, and Ruri doesn't find any more, but Nagi finds two, and she's just like, and she's just like, "How did you get two? Are you cheating? This
You're
isn't fair."
cheating. You're cheating.
It's just,
You cheater.
is there some sort of like secret knowledge you're using? She's like, secret knowledge, huh? Well, garnet's heavier than a lot of the other stones in this riverbed. So if you look for a large stone, you're likely to find a bank of. You might find garnets in its wake because the current there is slower, and they tend to
Uh-huh.
rest there and not get disturbed. Uh, and she's just
Yeah.
like, "Oh, a big rock like that one." She's like, "Well, that's on the other bank. We'd have to cross all the way to get there." And she's just like, "Don't worry, I'll get us all the way across in a shallow spot." And she takes her by the hand, and to her credit, Ruri does find a shallow spot for her. Uh, but
Yeah.
she inadvertently leads Nagi into a hip deep hole in the bottom of the river.
Yeah.
And she's just like, let's find some more stones while Nagi is wringing out her jeans. And yeah, they
That's
find some more
funny.
stones, and their hunger is not sated for it. They're just like, where could we find some more? These are beautiful. It's just like, well, we could go upriver, and they do, and they find another gorgeous, like, holy spot in nature.
Yeah, it's like a little cove that's off in the
Yeah,
river,
the
and it is glowing like
yeah,
red.
a landslide has changed the course of a tributary to this river, and caused a series of waterfalls. And in the deepest one of them, in the middle, uh, there are so many garnets that the riverbed is red with the sunlight
It's
sparkling
awesome
through it.
looking.
And they just take and she only sees it through a small crack, and she's just like, "Come here, Ruri." Um, and Ruri goes in there and has a religious experience about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they collect they collect little bags each of theirs, and as they're putting their
Mhm.
shoes back on and getting back in the car because it's getting late in the day, she's just
Yeah.
like, I wonder if I should have gotten more. Um, and they talk about it for a moment that that formation the just unlikeliness of that formation and like how many different
Mhm.
coincidences had to come into place for it to happen, and the fact that over time the landscape will change in such a way that the stones in that pool will be redistributed.
Yeah.
And she's just like, you should value what you took from there today.
She throws a rock in the water, and she's like, "Do you think that'll make it all the way to the ocean?"
Just like, yeah, it'll make its way to the ocean. It's just like, well, after that, do you
She's
think
like,
it'll end up on top of a tall mountain like Everest?
"Oh, we're having really deep conversations." She's like, "Maybe a meteor will strike the Earth and it'll go to
It's
space."
just having conversations about hundreds of thousands of years of geologic
Uh-huh.
time.
It's just like, "Oh my god,
uh,
slow down,
and
ladies."
uh, and yeah, as they're driving back in the sunset, Ruri looks in the back seat for a second, and she sees Nagi's pack and her geologist hammer. And we close out the episode with her stomping her feet in the kitchen again and saying, on a guy, please, can you give me an advance
Here's my
on my allowance?" And she's just like, "What do you want this time? Makeup, clothes, what?" And she's like, "No, something much better." And when it cuts to her room, you see the stones she's collected thus far and a magazine ad for a geologist hammer.
Yep.
I'm just like, ah,
It's
it's
cute.
cute.
It's cute. Oh, she's got
She's
hobbies.
getting a
Oh, I love
hobby.
it.
Um,
And then we have the outro, which is also
we
very
have
pretty, very
the outro,
stylish.
which is gorgeous. It's drawn in a
Very, very
very unique art
stylish.
style. The whole show looks really nice. Like I find that the
Yeah,
characters are very appealing, even
good solid
even non-sexually. Um,
animation. Yeah, yeah, no, they're just
um,
good. There's gonna be more girls
yeah, there's
join
going
the
to be
party
another
at some
equally
point.
stacked geologist. It appears.
Oh God. The actual geologists watching this are
They're
trembling in
trembling
fear.
like like
They're
Smithers.
they're not going to make
um,
it. Um,
but yeah, what do we think overall about this show?
yeah, there's pretty good, pretty solid, cute girls doing cute things, sort of
Hmm.
anime. Um, these are usually, sort of low priority for me in terms of what I go back to it. I could see myself watching this as like a, you know, casual sort of watch through, but it's not the most JoJo food I've
I'm not
ever
gonna
seen.
I'm
But it
not
was
gonna
cute.
race to it, but to because I have to know what's in the next episode. But I may very
Yeah.
well turn it on while I eat my lunch and be like, "Oh, so
Uh-huh.
that's what fucking Svalite looks like."
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's good. It's charming. Like I said, if you liked Laid Back Camp or any shows along those lines, you would probably like
Hmm.
this. Very low stakes, very
I
peaceful, very pretty, very good to look
like
at.
I didn't sound that enthusiastic about finding another episode, but do you know what tab I have open? DFW mineral hunting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is the thing that this show does.
It
It
makes
doesn't
you want to go
necessarily make you
outside.
want to watch more. You're just like, I need to go outdoors. I need to go into
I need to
nature
look
right
for
now.
rocks.
I need to I used to have a rock collection when I was a kid. I could do
I
that
had a
again.
couple, and
I
I'm
had a
always
couple.
interested in hunting for shed deer antlers. So
Ooh.
so yeah, I'm gonna give this a hearty go outside out of 10.
Yes, a hearty, gotta explore nature. Very, very good.
Anyway, if you'd like to go on a 3-mile hike with us into the wilderness after just meeting us, you can do that at oneepisodecast@gmail.com.
That is one the word, not the number. You can trust us. We're safe. You can trust us to go into the wilderness
I'm a
with you.
normal hiker. I can be trusted with knowledge of geology.
Um if if you want to send us a tweet, send us a little blue tweet, blue sky.
A
We're on
skeet?
Twitter. We're on Blue Sky. No, don't you can't we can't call it that. If you want to send us a bleat, we're on Blue Sky.
Uh,
We're at One Episode Cast. Send us something. Talk to us about
I
minerals, I
I
guess.
assure you,
Talk to us
there
about
are no
anything.
bears in my area. Well, I mean, well, no
Hmm.
four-legged
There might
bears in
be.
my area.
No.